end of December, halfway through the first full year of implementation, makes it a time to reflect on where we started, what we had hoped to accomplish, where we are, and where we still have to go. And as I think about that, I see in classrooms such a varied approach to the use of technology as well as the implementation of the new curriculum. Recently I was in a classroom and the teacher actually referenced its learning and going on to one of the documents that one of your curriculum writers created and how helpful that was to her. But when I actually then in the post-conference talked about have your students logged into its learning very much, the answer was no. So I feel like we're still in different places of implementation, and I don't know what you've been seeing in classrooms or hearing from teachers as well.
I do think we've come a long way in the year that we've implemented the grant and looking for what we want to see in a digital curriculum in the classroom. There have been some great things that we've seen. I think that differentiation has been really key for teachers to allow students to work at their own pace, providing some choice as to what type of Web 2.0 tool they want to use to either create information or display information. I know our teachers have had some struggles with its learning and HMH. Despite that, I do think that teachers have embraced the idea of using its learning and OneNote in the classroom. I think we would like to be able to share practices a little more with other teachers. I would like to see some collaboration among students that's very purposeful. So picking tools that will allow smaller groups to work collaboratively, where each student would take a piece of responsibility, but yet have that responsibility to also collaborate with one another. I do think that the blended curriculum works well, and that teachers should say what traditionally is working well for me and for my students, and how do I put that into a blended curriculum, as well as what tools are out there, and just continue to explore new options and new ways to deliver instruction to students digitally.
It's interesting, one of the highlights of one of the rooms that I went into was looking at the students taking ownership over their learning, and I actually went up to one group of students who were working collaboratively on creating a document about a text they were reading, and I said something to the girl, and she looked at me and said, I said, what do you think about your English classroom? And she said, this is my favorite class to come to each day. And as I talked to her why, it was the ability for the teacher to interact with technology and with the students in new ways that she wasn't experiencing in some of her other classrooms. So I think that's exciting for our English. And when I spoke with the teacher about that lesson, one of the things that I didn't even think about was, as he described the lesson and things, that this was not the first time he had taught that text, but it was the first time he did it through the It's Learning platform, as well as integrating some of the Web 2.0 tools like you said. And he made a point that I hadn't thought of before, and that is, he said, Chris, this lesson in the past used to span over 2 or 3 days, but because what the students are being able to do digitally from home, interacting, we're not ripping out paper and putting it all over the board, the kids are just right on the computer typing some things, that he's able to go deeper and complete more lessons than what would have been done in the past. So I do think we have the ability to move our curriculum forward. I do agree with you with the amount of support that's still needed to make that happen, and that it's in pockets sometimes. So how can we capitalize on teachers who are really understanding how to use the It's Learning and the Web 2.0 tools, and still making instructional decisions of when it really is the most appropriate. So when is it true engagement versus entertainment for the kids, I guess. That's what I'm thinking.